Hello everyone, it's Dom. Today I've got something really nice for you. It's very quick, one of those AI tricks for day-to-day use. So shout out to Emmanuel on Twitter who motivated me to create this video. And because it's a very similar to the previous one I did about PotatoGPT. It's a GPT, yes, but hold on with me. The background is if you are overwhelmed with too many videos to watch because you subscribe to so many creators or a ton of podcasts to listen to, but you don't have time for it, or maybe just day-to-day articles that are way too long, I hear you. And today I'll show you how I consume all that content using AI. By the way, if you don't have access to paid chat GPT, just contact me on Twitter or LinkedIn and I will share the prompt with you. So the internet is getting denser with the information every day. Long form articles, video and podcasts are super valuable. We know all of that, but they're long and we often don't have time for them. So I use a simple GPT that I created and named Q&A View. It can accept a URL or text and present it not in the form of summary, but a question-answer parts. Question, answer, question, answer. Let's quickly demonstrate it on a news article from TechCrunch. Right, so let's take, for example, this article about United Launch Alliance landing on the moon. And we can see it's not that long article, but let's use this GPT. So I copy the URL, I go to Q&A view. Okay, so I'm pasting the link, and Q&A view, I've got browsing options. So it's checking the article and forming the question answer for me to scan only through the questions, like headlines normally. And if I'm interested in one, then I'm gonna read it. In meantime, let me explain how I usually consume the news. So for example, I would scan the article for some of the bits and pieces that interested me. So I see a volcano, I probably need to read it all. There's no way I can scan through headlines. Well, obviously I can see a tweet from CEO of United Alliance. Okay, so here is the result of Q&A view. And instead of the scanning of the text, like an eyeballing scrolling, I can scroll through the questions. So what is the purpose? To upcoming launch and to deploy lunar lander. Nice. What's the schedule? I know it's Monday. What challenges? No, not interesting. What is the significance of the mission for Blue Origin? I'm not interested. I know they're using the Blue Origin engines. So I'm skipping those parts of the article just by judging on the questions. How is NASA involved? Yeah, the NASA payload. What are the broader implications of this? Okay, so already I can see that there will be many lunar missions planned for 2024. Nice. And then question about specific what the lunar lander will be doing on the moon. So we can see that where they're going to land and what is the payload, and 15 non-NASA payloads as well, which is cool. Okay, now let's try to create a summary of this article as normally you would do with those quick Chrome extensions or just manually summarizing the article. I'm going to use GPT for that and pasting the content and summarize above. And now you can see that pretty much the summary is like the same length of the article itself, and you're just losing the details. So the difference between the Q&A form and summary is that you don't lose those details. You just have those questions, and whether you want the answer or read that or not, and just skip it because you might actually know something or you might not be interested in that. So I usually, when I read those articles, I speed read the contents with, like scrolling with your eyeballs scanning for golden nuggets. And then I judge the content whether I'm interested in or not. By the way, I don't know if you noticed that, but some of the news website, they create the news articles, and if they don't have enough content, they repeat some of the information in many paragraphs. It's just so annoying. Right, on the beginning, I mentioned about the long form, like a long podcast. So let's take a 1 hour podcast from Lex Friedman, and let's copy the transcript of the whole video. So just to show you the perspective, I'm gonna paste the content in the Google Docs, which is 16 pages. And if you want to scan and search for the information, you can, but it's really hard to do so. So it's not that helpful. But let's now use Q&A view. And I'm pasting the whole content. And now instead of creating the summary, I'm creating a question answer parts for all the content. So straight off the bat, I can go and start scanning the headlines. What is dark matter? No, I know what it is. How does dark matter different from? I know that. Can dark matter have a role in extinction? Ooh, that's interesting. Like the extinction of dinosaurs. Discuss the speculative theory where dark matter might interact with such a way that it influences the Oort cloud at the edge of our solar system, potentially increasing the rate of catastrophic asteroid impact on Earth. There you go. Okay, what else? What is the role of dark matter in the universe? No. Is dark matter uniform? No. And so on. So I'm just showing you the way how I consume content. Like the information I know I can skip. I don't need to read it. Only the parts I'm interested in. So just because I found something interesting, I can then find this part in the transcript, 19 minutes, and I can just watch this part. How cool is that? Okay, lastly, I just want to show you that it's not only for articles, news, or podcasts. Let's try something different. Like I'm looking for, some activity. Let's say Paintball London. And I'm visiting the website. Okay, there's quite a lot of going on here. All right, let's convert it into question and answer form. Again, Q&A view. I'm just pasting the link like I would do for the article. Just a side note, not all websites are accessible for ChatGPT, for the Bing browser, because, there is this form ai.txt file that will prohibit AI crawlers to consume the text and potentially train on it. So, OpenAI cannot access it. Right. So what is Go Paintball? Yeah, it's a company located. Okay, nice. 30 minutes by train from central London. That is so cool. Unique. Okay. They're the only venue in the world to offer the new professional level gun upgrades. Interesting. What kind of customer service can I expect? No, not interested. Either food options. Yeah, okay. Paintballs go. How much? Okay. £6 per 100 or extra paintballs. Okay. And when you go on this website, you need to navigate. Yeah, where are the prices? This is the prices. So you see, if you want to do research and you want to visit many websites, it's sometimes quicker to do it through this Q&A view, let's say for comparison. But there is one more thing. There is some limit to ChatGPT message size. So for example, the Lex Friedman podcast was 1 hour and it was 16 pages. But what about the longer format? So I don't know, let's go some crazy stuff like Joe Rogan, and this one is 3.5 hours. So when I get the transcript, try to use Q&A view and paste it in the ChatGPT. Oh, we hit that the message was too long. And the trick is you can use something to split the prompt, which is ChatGPT prompt splitter, and you can basically split the content. Well, actually, before I do that, let me show you how many pages is that. So when I paste that into empty Google Docs document, I can see it's 56 pages, which is roughly like a quarter of a whole book. So yeah, that's a lot for a starting message for ChatGPT. So we want to split that, but Let's actually change it to custom. For GPT, you can probably do 30,000. So that would split into 8 parts. But let's just go with the first one. And you can paste all the parts. Okay, let's just speed it up and paste the last one. And you can see straight away that it's going with the question answer format. Enjoy. Okay, that's it for today. I'm done. And that's how I consume content using AI. It's a game changer, isn't it? If you find this video helpful, please thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more AI hacks. See you in the next one.